Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Courage to Become podcast. I'm Joe, your host, and as always, I'm so happy you're here with me today. So, today we're going to talk about a lot of things that we've already talked about because I think they're important. I think it's important to recap it all. But I want you to be able to understand your chart and how your chart shapes your life. So I'm going to go through everything again from a different perspective to just kind of help you to see how it all fits together. So we're going to dive into how the flow of energy connects to our human design chart. And this episode is going to explore how understanding your own chart can really help to empower you to recognize and work on your unique energy flow so that you can live in alignment with your true self and maximize your potential. We all have this flow of energy that flows throughout us, and we all have a map of how that energy flows within us. And that map is called human design. And so we're going to walk through what that means when you have certain areas defined or undefined. So we have talked about in previous episodes how important it is to engage with the world around us and how getting involved keeps us or keeps the energy flowing in our lives. But now I want to dive a little bit deeper and explore how the flow of energy within you and human design helps you to illuminate that process. So, human design helps you to connect that energy that's within you to illuminate the process of what's working as this energy is flowing, what things are happening outside your world as the energy is flowing within you, so that you can see that the two actually correlate. So before we get into any specifics, let's just take a moment to recap what is human design and why it's so powerful in understanding the flow of energy in our lives. So human design combines a lot of or a bunch of ancient wisdom modalities such as the Chinese I Ching, the Jewish Kabbalah, the Hindu chakra system, and it combines, oh, in Eastern and Western astrology as well. And it combines those with modern day sciences such as genetics and quantum physics, and it together gives you a blueprint of who you are at this deep core energetic level. And of course, we're all made of energy. We're made up of 99.999% energy. So the map of your energy just shows you a deeper look or gives you a deeper look at what that energy means for you. Who is it? Who are you being because of the energy flow within you? So your human design is unique to you. So everyone has a chart, and that chart is based on your birthday, time, the birth date, including month, day, and year, the time, including AM, PM, and yes, that is very important, and your location. And the reason that this is so important is because human design, this map of your energy, is created from the very first breath of the air that you take in, because that's the energy of the universe. And of course, the universe around you also plays an impact. So where the planets are currently cycling through is also going to give you another flavor. But in human design, we have centers that correspond to different aspects of our lives, such as our mind or our emotions or communication. And our own sense of self-worth is one of these. And this is where a big part of this energy plays out in our lives. These centers can either be defined or undefined, and that distinction plays a crucial role in understanding how your unique energy is going to flow within you. Because when it's open, you're going to take it in from other people and amplify it out. And when it's defined, you have a consistent way of processing that energy. But to understand how energy flows within you, I want to break down the idea of the defined versus undefined sectors in your human design chart. And then we're going to talk more about the different energy types, and we're going to go into how energy flows for each type. So let's start with defined versus undefined. And I know that we've already gone through some of this in some of the previous episodes, but I think it's really important to keep bringing this up and helping you to see it and realize it and be able to pay attention, because there may be even times when you are not paying attention, because that's what happens. Our monkey mind takes over and we forget that we're supposed to be paying attention to what's going on around us. So when a center is defined, it is consistent and reliable. You have a fixed way of processing that particular energy. So, for example, if your sacral center is defined, you have a very strong, consistent access to this life force energy and creativity. You don't have to seek any external validation for your energy. It's always available to you. And defined centers are where your personal energy is most consistent. So these are areas where you have strengths and endurance, and they provide you with a deep sense of alignment when you follow your true design. The undefined centers, so when a center is undefined, it's open and receptive to the energy around you. So these centers are more fluid. They absorb and amplify the energies from the people and the environments that are around you. So for example, if your emotional solar plexus is undefined, you might experience fluctuating emotions based on the people that are around you. You're absorbing their emotional energy and then amplifying it. And that can be overwhelming, especially if you're not aware of that dynamic. And I like to use the example of when you go to something sad, like a funeral or a wake. And as soon as you walk in there as somebody with an emotional, I mean, everyone I think feels this to some degree, but when you have an open emotional solar plexus, wow, can that be painful, because you are taking in the energy of all of that pain that these people around you are feeling, and you're amplifying it. So it can be really, really difficult, especially with an open emotional solar plexus. But undefined areas are there, all of our centers are there to help us to grow. Now, remember, human design is a map of the lessons that you're here to learn in this lifetime. So your centers, whether they're defined or undefined, are specifically made that way because there are certain lessons for you to learn within those. So undefined areas are where you have the most potential for growth and learning, but they can also be areas where you feel inconsistent and out of balance unless you're mindful of how those external energies influence you. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important to understand your human design and to know how it works for you. So in human design, strategy refers to the way your energy type is meant to make decisions. So we all have an energy type, and based on those energy types, there's also something called a strategy. And when you align with your strategy, you allow that energy to flow more easily and you create less resistance in your life. So I want to break down how that energy flows in your life based on your human design type. The cat keeps whipping me with his tail here. So manifestors, the energy of a manifestor is they flow best when they let others know what they're doing before they take any action. And what happens with that is it helps them to prevent resistance from the outside world, and it allows their creative energy to move freely because that energy isn't getting interrupted by others saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" And so by following that strategy, they can take aligned action and they impact the world through those bold ideas that they have. They're the ones who are here to generate that energy to get you into action. So you want them to jump into action. You want them to keep moving and pulling people in so that the generators can then come in and do their work. Generators and manifesting generators, these two types have a consistent life force energy when they're doing work that they love. So their energy flows best when they respond to life rather than initiating. So they are not like the manifester who can come in and just take action. They have to follow the energy flow. So they do that by feeling what feels best for them. And when they follow their strategy, it means responding to what feels good. And in doing so, that's when they keep their energy vibrant and sustainable. Projectors they have a little bit of a unique energy where it requires that they have rest and wait for recognition. So the energy is more about guiding others, but only when they're invited to share their wisdom. If they try to share their wisdom before they're invited, they're going to feel blockages. It's going to feel like something went wrong. Like, why does this feel like this? It feels heavy and difficult. But they will experience flow when they wait for that invitation and then they share whatever wisdom they have to share. So by waiting for that invitation, they align with their energy, and this therefore helps them to prevent getting burnout. Reflectors are deeply connected to the lunar cycle, and their energy is influenced by the people and the environments that they're in. So their strategy means waiting a full lunar cycle, which is like 28 days, about 28 days, before making any important decisions. And that allows their energy to flow naturally, and it helps them to align with their environment. Now, this can be really difficult because a full 28 days is a long time to wait to make decisions. This is really for big decisions. Obviously, it would be too difficult to go through life having to wait 28 days to make any decision, because deciding whether or not to brush your teeth before you go to bed, that's kind of an in the moment decision. You can't wait 28 days to brush your teeth. Well, at least I hope you don't. I hope you don't even wait the day. But so reflectors experience energy a lot differently, and reflectors are open in every area. So reflectors have a really unique energy where they really kind of need to understand everything about the chart so that they know and can recognize what it is that they're feeling as it flows through them. So each center in your human design chart is designed to handle that specific type of energy. And when the centers are aligned and functioning correctly, the flow of energy is very smooth and you feel more connected to yourself and to the world around you. It just feels good. It feels like life is flowing good. So I want to look at the main centers and the role of their energy flow so that as you feel that, you can start to connect it to the energy center within you so that you can start to understand how your energy is flowing. So the head center, that's the very top center. That's where inspiration and ideas come from. And if this center is defined, the energy is consistently focused on receiving and processing mental stimulation. So if you have a defined head center, you could sometimes find that you're stuck in your head all the time. If it's undefined, you may find that your thoughts are influenced by the environment or the people around you, and you need to be mindful of not absorbing unnecessary mental energy. So pay attention to who you're with and what mental energy is coming in for you. And is it yours, or is it something that you need to focus on? And I can tell you that usually the mind is not the best place to make answers from. We want to make answers from our heart. Now, yes, we do need our minds to help us to work through the facts and the details of it all. But in terms of making the actual decision, you really need to go into the flow of your heart. The Ajna center that's the next one down from the head center. And that's where we process and make sense of the information. And a defined ajna will give you a fixed perspective, which means that you might sometimes be closed-minded. And an undefined ajna means your thinking can be flexible and open to new ideas. And so when your energy flows freely, you can trust your mind to process and interpret that information more clearly. You need to make sure that your energy is flowing correctly in order to be able to trust yourself for that information, for interpreting that information correctly. And so that's one of the things that human design helps us with, is understanding when that energy flow is flowing the right way and when it isn't. The throat center, which is the third one down and right about at your throat center on the body graph, that's where you express yourself. So for people with a defined throat center, their voice is very powerful and the energy flows best when they speak and communicate regularly. And so if this center is undefined, your energy around communication is a lot more flexible, and you might feel like you need to wait for the right moments before you speak. But the energy of the defined center, they can speak just about any time, and they do best when they are communicating because that energy is continually flowing. The heart center is related to willpower. The heart center this is also called the will center, is the small little triangle off to the left. And then in traditional human design, when human design began, there was only one heart center. So the heart center or the G center and the will center are sort of connected. And so these energy centers can be spoken about together, which I'm going to do here. But in the solar plexus mutation that they're saying is going to happen beginning in 2027, this is where there will be another split in this area. So the heart center is related to willpower, self-worth, and motivation. And if it's defined, your energy is consistently directed towards achieving goals, getting things done. And if it's undefined, you might feel inconsistent in your motivation. And it's important to be mindful of where your sense of self-worth is coming from. And so in the will center, most of us have this undefined, which means most of us don't have consistent access to this willpower. But when it is defined, you do have that consistent access to that willpower. So you might find achieving goals is much easier. And then as somebody who's undefined, you might sometimes beat yourself up because you can't understand why you can't get anything done. Well, it's because you don't have that defined will center and you need to build in cycles of rest. The solar plexus center, and this is where our emotions live, this is the emotional center. When this is defined, it means you have consistent access to emotional energy, and your energy flows in waves of highs and lows. And if it's undefined, you might feel like you absorb and amplify the emotions of the people around you. So it's really critical to protect that emotional energy. For those that have this defined, there are different ways that you can feel this wave of emotion. Some people have high highs and low lows. Some people just have this small little undulation. There are several different ways, and it depends on how your energy is connected. What energy centers are connected to that solar plexus center? What channels of energy going through them are they? And we can tell from those most likely what your energy waves will be like. The root center is where you might feel a lot of pressure, but this is your drive also. So when it's defined, it gives you consistent ability to handle pressures and deadlines. And when it's undefined, you might feel like you're easily stressed by outside pressures, things that are going on outside that are making you feel extremely pressured. And it's important for you to create environments to be in that support that calmness for you, and for you to understand, if you have this open center, that is sometimes going to feel like pressure. And that doesn't mean it is pressure. It's you allowing the people's energy from outside of you to impact you. So understanding your human design chart helps you to understand and recognize where your energy is most consistent, where it's more flexible, and how you can best align your actions with the natural flow of your unique energy. And when you align with your natural energetic design By honoring your strategy and protecting your undefined centers and nurturing your defined ones, you can create an environment where your energy can flow freely. And that flow is what supports your growth, evolution, and purpose. And the human design chart is what I use to help you to connect with that energy so that you can support that growth best for you. The more we understand how our own unique energy flows throughout our human design chart, the easier it becomes to create a life that feels aligned, fulfilling, and abundant. When you learn to trust your own energy and honor your unique design, you step into your full potential. Your growth becomes inevitable. So just take a moment today and reflect on the flow of the energy that flows within you. Where do you feel strong? Where do you feel sensitive? Where do you feel influenced by others? How can you better honor and nurture that energy to support your own growth and evolution? There's so much that we can learn from within us, from the way that our energy flows. And this is what human design shows us. It's a map of the lessons that we're here to learn, and it even shows us how we're designed to learn them. So I want to thank all of you for being here today. I hope that this episode gave you some new insights into how you can align with your own unique energy and your human design and use it to create a life that you truly desire, to create the life that you want to live, to become the person that you want to be. So until next time, remember, your energy is unique, and when you honor it, you allow it to work for you, helping you to become the highest version of yourself. If you got anything out of this episode, I would be ever so grateful if you would click a little bit of love on that like button, share it with a friend, or subscribe so that you don't miss another episode. I'll be back in a couple of weeks, and I'm not sure what we'll be talking about, but I can't wait to connect with you then. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Bye, everyone.